So, welcome to another video. This is a video that I've been meaning to make for pretty much a year now. It was about a year ago that I managed to purchase this BMW M3. I've always wanted an M3, probably since they first came out in 2008. This type especially. I've always been an M3 fan, but it was a 2008 four-door saloon, which is the E90, that really grabbed my attention. But back in the day, obviously 50-60 grand car, well out of my price range as a 21-year-old. But fast forward 10 years, I'm now 31 and still lucky to be able to afford to run a car like this, just about. So yeah, thought I'd do a video finally after a year of ownership and just kind of go over my loves and hates of this car. So this is a completely stock 4-litre V8 DCT box, which is basically like the semi-auto, completely stock, as I say. There's no mods to it other than the exhaust, which has a very slight modification to the back box to make it a little bit louder than stock, just so you can hear that V8 note. But other than that, it is completely stock and it drives lovely. I went all the way to the Nürburgring in it, as you've probably seen in one of my last videos, which is some like 900-mile round trip, and it was faultless, comfortable, and a lot of fun on the track as well. One of the issues though is the fuel consumption. Obviously, being a V8, it was doing about low 20s, kind of 20-23 mile per gallon. On a run it will do 25, but that's if you're really careful. As soon as you start pushing it, it kind of goes down naturally. There's no torque low down. It's not like you'd expect, kind of like makes its torque high up and the power high up, so you really have to drive it hard. And you find that sometimes if you got it in like the economy mode or the normal mode, you want it to change down a little bit quicker. But apart from that, it does drive really nice. So I feel like this is a car that's aged really well. I still think it is a good looking car today. For me, it's got to be the four-door saloon. I'm not a fan of the E92, the coupe. It's just not for me. I prefer the four-door kind of touring car look. And obviously you can get the family in it and friends quite easily. And it's kind of quite understated. It just looks a bit like a standard 3 Series, but obviously, as we know, it's not, and it's got a lot more going for it than a standard 3 Series. Yeah, so this is white DCT, got the black leather, 19-inch option wheels, and EDC suspension, which I'm so glad I went for in the end. So that's the like adaptive suspension. You can choose between 3 different modes, like comfort, sport, and then sport plus I think it is, or whatever the third one is that makes it really stiff. But yeah, I guess we will give it a little drive. I will stick the GoPro on, get you some exhaust notes, get you some exhaust noise from the GoPro, and yeah, just kind of go through what it's like to drive the M3 E90 V8 DCT, for those of you who may be interested. So let's go. I don't know about you guys, but I think this has to be one of the most fun cars, one of the best sounding saloon cars, at least, shall we say, of all time. That exhaust note, oh, it just gives me, like, just makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up every time I hear it. Which way am I going? I am going this way. And it's, do you know what, a long time ago, probably 10 years ago when this car first came out, I would have only chosen a manual. I remember when the DSG gearboxes first came out for the Volkswagens, and I was so against them. I thought that they took away some of the driver control and the feel. And although the flappy paddles are a little bit of a laugh initially, for me it was always a manual. So perhaps if I'd have bought this car new, I would have had a manual gearbox, and that scares me because this DCT gearbox is amazing. I don't think I could live with a manual. I really think that the DCT is paired with the V8 so well. The gear changes are just rapid, instantaneous, and obviously the downshifts as well. When it revs up and it blips the downshifts, so good. But yeah, for me, this car is a great all-rounder. Like I say, it looks like a four-door family 3 Series, and it pretty much is. But obviously under the bonnet is the mighty 4-litre V8, the S65, which has already got a very good reputation. Obviously they love to rev. I think it revs to 8.5 or 8.3, somewhere around there. So yeah, really impressive. But that being said, there's not a great deal of torque, so you really do need to rev it to get the power out of it. Especially on track. When I went to the Nürburgring, I noticed that if you weren't in the right gear, it's like you've lost out to the car next to you or the car in front. They're gone, and there's no, you're too late. You can't, by the time you've downshifted, the car in front's gone. And the same as if you're on like an incline, so you're coming out of a corner and it's a bit of a hill, like certainly parts of the Nürburgring. If you're in the wrong gear, you just haven't got the torque low down to pull you up it. But apart from that, it is a driver's car, and it makes you want to use the gears and change up and down. And the 7-speed gearbox, like I say, is amazing. It's civilized enough when you're driving about day to day, but when you really want to have some fun, it's there, and it's, yeah, best of both worlds. Like I said earlier, the fuel consumption's pretty terrible, but I guess that's to be expected for a 4-litre V8. It's very comfortable, big heavy electric leather seats, and it's a nice place to be. Heated seats, aircon, sat nav, electric side bolsters on the front seats, everything you could really want, and everything you'd expect out of an M3.